What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we've got some Destiny 2 news, and Bungie finally talk about Season of the Deep. So we get a preview of the season, or should I say more of a teaser for the core season content, I guess. But also Bungie talk about a bunch of changes coming next season, new strand aspects, adjustments to deep side activation, economy changes, power caps, adjustments to raid rewards, bounty updates, and trials. So a few things to talk about right here, and we're going to jump straight into it. So initially, Bungie give us a bit of a teaser image here for Season of the Deep. And yes, it does look like we'll be returning to Titan, so we can see some Guardians in the background there with what appears to be new armor for the season. There's also a creepy eye in the background, which reminds me a little bit of the Oversoul from back in Crota's End. That perhaps is just the color scheme, but of course importantly, we can also see Sloane, the old vendor from Titan there as well. So a bit of a thematic tease for Season of the Deep. And yes, there were plenty of leaks which have turned out to be correct about the theme for that new content, so that's an interesting one, and of course, the new season will begin on the 23rd of May, so give us your thoughts about that and let us know what you're excited for. But next, Bungie give us a preview of new strand aspects. So the Hunter is getting the Threaded Spectre, and it says activate your class ability to leave behind a decoy woven from strand matter that draws the attention of nearby combatants. And after taking significant damage, or when combatants approach, the decoy detonates, dealing damage and releasing threadlings that seek out and attack nearby foes. Bungie go on to say that enemies will focus and shoot at the Threaded Spectre until it's destroyed or expires, which gives the Hunter and their team enough time to get to safety. But when destroyed, a Threaded Spectre explodes into 2 threadlings. So that'll be an interesting one, but Titans also get a new one, and that's Fletched Storm. And while sliding, activate your charged melee ability to leap into the air, knocking nearby targets away and dealing damage. Then while airborne, activate your charged melee again to launch a cluster of damaging, unraveling projectiles. And repeatedly activating melee will chain additional throws. So this will grant access to a powerful new slide melee attack that quickly launches up into the air and allows Titans to blast away any nearby enemies, and then when in the air, we can press the melee button again to fire a cluster of tracking projectiles that deal heavy damage. Finally though, there is also the Wanderer, and this is for Warlocks, and tangles you throw attach to enemies and detonate into a suspending burst, and threadling final blows will create a tangle. And when Warlocks are equipped with the aspect, by picking up a tangle, they weave it into the Wanderer, and when thrown, the Wanderer travels through the air seeking targets, but once it finds a target, it soars towards them, latches on, and explodes into a suspending detonation that deals damage, and suspends any nearby enemies. On top of that, the Wanderer also enables threadling final blows from any source to generate a tangle. So a pretty cool look right there at the new strand aspects we'll get access to. Then in terms of economy changes, Bungie outline that for the first time, they will not be increasing the power bands in Season 21, so the power floor will remain at 1600, with the soft cap at 1750, the powerful cap at 1800, and pinnacle caps at 1810. And if players hit the pinnacle cap during Season 20, they will simply remain at that pinnacle cap in Season 21. So an interesting different approach right there, I suppose. Give us your thoughts about missing that power grind out next season. And they say since they won't be raising the pinnacle cap, the need for many pinnacle legendary rewards has dropped significantly, so they're changing the rewards for the basic complete activities challenges to a focusable powerful exotic engram. This gives more players 3 to 9 free, achievable, and deterministic weekly exotic engrams ready for focusing. And of course that will pair with the new exotic focusing system that they're introducing next season, and they've outlined that previously. And yes, we will lose some pinnacle drops, so reaching the pinnacle cap will be slower for everyone, but they're hoping the need for less pinnacle drops continues in future seasons, but they will be looking at feedback and stats once the season goes live. They also outline that other sources of focusable exotic engrams include random world drops, season pass paid and free tracks, and then vendor reputation tracks. So a good bit of clarity right there, and of course the requirement to have those pinnacle drops in the game is going to be reduced for most players at least who are currently playing the game. So share your thoughts about it down below. On top of that though, they'll be changing how deep side activation works, and there'll be some crafting economy changes for weapons. So they say to perform a deep side activation on a weapon, we'll need a new deep side harmonizer currency. Non-raid weapons will cost 1 harmonizer, while raid weapons will require 15 spoils of conquest in addition to a harmonizer. And they say the harmonizer currency can be obtained from the season pass rank rewards, so there'll be 3 in the free tracks and another 3 in the paid, and this will be the sole source of the currency for the initial rollout. Additionally though, only one harmonizer can be stored in the inventory at any time, and this currency does not stack. And they say not all weapon instances will be compatible with deep sight activation, so we'll be prevented from activating deep sight for a weapon that has already had its pattern unlocked, and weapons that previously had deep sight will be ineligible. On top of that though, weapon instances purchased from raid vendors won't be eligible. However, weapons purchased from Xur and the gunsmith will support deep sight activation, which is interesting. In terms of crafting costs though, they say legendary shard costs will be removed from all crafting components, and glimmer and enhancement core costs will remain untouched. On top of that though, enhanced weapon costs are based solely on weapon masterwork costs, and thus will still require legendary shards as they're not yet modifying the weapon masterwork economy in Season 21. So a few extra changes right there to how deep sight's going to work. And there's also a section in the TWAB about adding triumphs to older raids, much like they have with Duality, Spire of the Watcher, and Root of Nightmares, which give a boosted chance to receive exotic weapon drops in that raid or dungeon. So in Season 21, they're adding boosted triumphs to legacy content with randomly dropped exotic weapons to bring them up to the standard for raids and dungeons. So there'll be triumphs for those activities that give an increased chance to get the exotic essentially. But for players who've already unlocked those triumphs, if you're still hunting the raid exotic, you'll automatically get that boosted chance. So that's a positive. And they do outline the specific numbers of the increase right there inside of the TWAB, so you can check that out linked below. Also on the subject of economy though, finest matter weaves and rainmakers are going to be deprecated. So in Season 21, the items will no longer drop from any source in the game, and any instance where players would have received a finest matter weave, they'll instead receive an enhancement core. And then for any instances where players would have gotten a drop of rainmaker, they'll instead get 3000 glimmer. But on top of that, all existing instances of those items in inventories can be consumed to directly grant associated materials. So matter weaves can be dismantled for an enhancement core, and rainmakers can be dismantled for 3000 glimmer. Share your thoughts on that, guys. But there'll also be changes to Vanguard bounties. So existing daily bounties requiring us to get specific types of kills will now require twice as many kills to complete, but can be done anywhere in the game, so we won't only have to do them in strikes. But there'll be some new bounties that include killing elites, mini-bosses, and champions, kills with elemental abilities, with bonuses for killing with a subclass verb, and ones to complete 2 Vanguard activities, which is interesting. They say as well that they're adding a new repeatable bounty, one for getting fireteam kills in a Vanguard activity. So mixing up that bounty grind just a little bit right there. And there'll also be a change to season passes coming in Season 21. So this will be an adjustment to the standalone season pass price, and that'll begin with Season of the Deep. So the season pass itself will go from 1000 silver to 1200 silver, and the season pass plus 10 ranks bundle will go from 2000 to 2200 silver. Of course, if you already own the seasons through the Lightfall purchase, then that won't affect us, but these will be new prices for standalone purchases, which is an interesting change. They're essentially increasing that price, and I know players will have mixed feelings about that, so give us your thoughts below. Also in the TWAB though, there is a preview of new rewards for trials. So there's going to be the Hero's Wake exotic ghost shell. This is a flawless reward. And it's the same for the new exotic ship that we can see right here. But there'll also be an exotic sparrow and even a new shader that we can get from the lighthouse in Season 21. And there's a bit of a preview right there of that Season 21 icon on the shader as well. In addition though, they'll be bringing back the messenger as a featured weapon, and also the unexpected resurgence is a new adaptive arc glaive. On top of that, you can see right here a new emblem, and this will be rewarded to players when they open the flawless chest at the lighthouse if they did not trail during any of their wins on their flawless run, which means you must get a flight of the pigeon medal for every single win. So give us your thoughts on the new trials loot, the rest of those Season 21 changes, and even that thematic preview down below. But that's everything I've got for you. I'll link the TWAB down below if you want to check it out in full. As always, I hope you've enjoyed the video, share your thoughts in the comment section, and feel free to get subscribed if you want to see more Destiny content. But otherwise, I hope you guys have an awesome day.